Well, what can you say? The only reason I saw this film is because it was a paid request by Frame by Frame. And for those interested in requesting any type of review, re-review, commentary, reaction, discussions, video game playthroughs, video game discussions, movie topics, news, whatever the case may be, PayPal is usually the best bet, or you can join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under most of these videos. Now, Barbie, I mean, I have nothing against dolls. Hell, that's Danny Glover Predator 2 doll. You say this, someone sent me Raphael 1990 Ninja Turtle doll, action figure, whatever the case may be. And if guys want to play, or are into Barbie, be my guest. I don't care. I only care if people are assholes. That's all I care. But this is not my... I'm not the target audience. I'm not what the movie was made for. Because I don't love or hate Barbie. I'm the don't give a fuck category. Because I know even the marketing said, if you love Barbie or if you hate Barbie, see this. I'm of the I don't give a fuck category. But you can't put that in the trailer. If you don't give a fuck about Barbie, see it. They don't put that in there. It's one of those things that after watching the film, I sat there and I went, this film made $1 billion. This film made $1 billion. I mean, I know Barbie is a popular. I guess I underestimated how popular it was. Now, just because a movie makes money doesn't automatically make it a good movie. Case in point, this film. I just didn't find this entertaining. Didn't find it funny. Hell, I wasn't even going to do this review until later, but this computer's having a system update, so while I'm waiting to do that, to go to bed, because I don't want to keep this laptop up all night, this backup I have, since the main one went to shit. Maybe because I saw Barbie, so it went to shit, I don't know. I'm floundering, I'm lollygagging for like 3 minutes, because I'm sitting there going, as a comedy, I didn't laugh much. And as a Barbie movie, why the fuck does a Barbie movie need to be a big goddamn political statement? And of course it became one. Whether you love or you hate it, whether you're this one, left, right, in between someone's legs, whatever the case may be, it's gotta be very, very, very political on feminism, patriarchies, matriarchies, equal rights. And we gotta use Barbie as a platform. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I mean, if little kids want that in movies now, alright. I mean, that would be like me wanting a Ninja Turtles film to stop everything and be like, let's focus more on equal rights. Well, I mean, they did go into the whole acceptance thing in the new film that came out by pothead Seth Rogen. It'd be like me wanting a G.I. Joe movie, but actually we're going to talk about warmongering and war profiteering and how the CIA funded all this shit in Saigon and all this other shit. And you say they're going, well, where's the G.I. Joe movie? Entertaining? So we gotta be really, really fun. Because every goddamn thing's gotta be political. Next we'll have a Hungry Hippos movie where the big gist of the plot is about fucking fat shaming. Whatever. I love how people say this is for little kids. Would little kids like this film? Women, be my guest. But would little kids really give a shit about this film? I'm not talking about the Barbie property. Yes, the Barbie property, okay. But I mean, like, this film specifically. With all this dialogue about feminism and equal rights, would a little kid really understand what the hell's going on? They're hoping you'll enjoy the set design. Perhaps. I mean, never thought you'd see a Barbie movie where a big chunk of the film is about fucking victim complex. But it's the world of 2023 today. Why am I surprised? Barbie is a victim complex by the end of it. Because she thinks everyone loves her, but then this one kid who she gets to, I'll get to this girl in a minute. If this is how kids are today, I'm glad I'm not a parent. Fucking glad. This little girl is talking about how Barbie, you're sexualized capitalism, you're a fascist. She sounds like a sociopathic communist. Go live with Steve Seagal in Russia then, little lady. How about them apples? Goddamn sociopathic communist that I'm sitting there going, you know what, little girl? You're the type that the dad should have done one of three things. Put the load on the crack, on the back, or keep it in the fucking sack. Because if this is how kids are today, fuck off. Yeah, back, crack, or keep it in the sack to your mama. And I'm talking about the character, folks. I'm not talking about the actual person or actress. I'm talking about the characters and its jokes. Which this film supposedly had jokes, except I couldn't find much to laugh at. I mean, for a little kid's film to have an entire fucking scene about beating off, but it's called beaching off. I'm gonna beat you off. Yeah, I'm gonna beat you off with two hands. Nobody's beaching each other. Because, you know, that's appropriate for little girls, but hey, the fuck do I know? And the whole time sitting there going, this is just such a forgettable movie to me that this made $1 billion. Like Ryan Gosling, someone mentioned this the other day. I like him as an actor. I think he's the best thing of this film. For what he's given, he's trying his damnedest, and I liked him as an actor. But, you know, Drive, great film. Not a big box office bonanza. Love Blade Runner 2049. That film didn't do well, but this is the film he does that gets $1 billion. Go figure. From the weird opening that's mimicking a 2001 A Space Odyssey, where Helen Mirren is narrating about how kids would play with baby dolls and try to be mothers. And well, that was okay for a while. But then Barbie came by. So you have all these little girls bashing baby dolls to death. And I'm like sitting there going, you know what? If I saw a little girl taking a baby doll and smashing it like this, I would think, oh my god, it's the Omen. They're all the Omens. They're all Lucifers. Or the Antichrist. Where is their 666 fucking birthmark? Maybe they're related to Macaulay Culkin from The Good Son. Maybe they're related. They're brother and sister. I like, y'all fucking psycho. Bashing these fucking baby dolls. God damn. And literally one of the first lines Helen Mirren says about Barbie, feminism, and equal rights, I'm like, is that what... Again, I'm not the target audience. Is that what people thought of Barbie the whole fucking time? I didn't know. Guess you learn something new every day. That's what Barbie... I thought girls just wanted to play with Barbie because, hey, to have fun. Like boys did with G.I. Joe. Again, with me as a kid, if I played with G.I. Joe or Ninja Turtles, I didn't think about, again, war profiteering or Ninja Turtles about, I don't know, some type of identity politics, whatever the fuck. I mean, there are people changing their sexes to be a fucking. Well, it's not really sex. It's what was the story? They want to be a fucking wolf or something. Or where the fuck it was. I'm like, okay, be my guest. So we're in Barbie world with a bunch of Barbie girls. Everyone says hi and they're cheery. Hey Barbie, hey Barbie, hey Barbie. You have all the Kens. And Michael Cera is, I forget what his character's name, Adam or something. I don't even know why he's in the movie. I just kind of have a crush on Ryan Gosling, but not really. Whatever. It pretty much is a perfect day for Barbie world, where it's a matriarchy and the women are the doctors and then the lawyers and they're up top shelf and center, while the Kens really don't do anything but lounge around. And as Ken says, it's only a great day if Barbie looks at him. Okay. That's where you get that whole beat them off, beat you off, beat you both off at the same time. I would love for a little girl to ask their mom what the hell the meaning of that joke was. If they know, if they don't know, I love for the parent to try to explain it to them. How the hell that works. And apparently this Barbie world, it's a fantasy world where I guess there's an owner of theirs that controls them but doesn't. I know I'm not supposed to think about it that deep because it's Barbie and it's fantasy and anything can happen in Fantasyland, but it's an okay, they are played with, but I guess not, otherwise there'd be a bunch of Barbies thrown around, because I've seen kids in playgrounds back in the day when I was a kid, when we had the Ninja Turtles toys and they had Barbies, they fucking throw them and fucking bash the shit out of them. I didn't see anyone flying around. So, I guess it's like, okay, no, that's not really the case. It's just subliminally, subconsciously, whatever the fuck. They also eat, but they don't eat. They shower, but they don't shower. They shower, but there's no water. They eat, but there's nothing that comes out. But then that could also change because of moods and emotions. So one day Barbie gets burnt toast and she fakes milk, but she's grossed out even though nothing came out because the milk's now expired, even though none of it exists. But because of the mood of someone, now her feet are flat. It just shows how little I know, because I thought all the fucking Barbie dolls were, flat on their feet. Not this. Again, shows how little I know. And there's also Barbies that are very chubby. There are Barbies that are in wheelchairs. I'm like, I'm being serious. Did they make Barbies in wheelchairs? Maybe. Hey, little girl, get this toy. Let's remind you of the wheelchair you're in. Even though it's supposed to be about as steep as, you're in a fucking wheelchair. Here's a Barbie in a wheelchair too. Ain't ya like? It's like, hey, you got dysentery. Here's a Barbie with dysentery. Where's the STD Barbies? With Sally with the World of Today, with cuties and all that shit. Sally, that Euphoria, probably are. I don't want to think about it. This world's fucked up. So, Ken wants to talk to Barbie, but Barbie's being a bitch. Well, this is a Barbie dream house. It's not Ken's dream house, and none of the Kens have anywhere to live. And it's supposed to be this whole take, the jump ahead, spoilers, the jump ahead, where they're the matriarchy, they go to the real world, it's a patriarchy, and The way the Barbies treat the Kens in the Barbie world is supposed to be like how the men treat the women in the real world. And that's the comparison. And as the people that highly defend this film, that's why you cannot say it's an anti-men movie, because it's... I'm more like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know why Barbie has to be a big old fucking political statement, but okie dokie, if you say so. That's the world we live in today. Firestorm of politics is from Barbie. Jesus H. Christ. I can't wait for the My Little Pony sex change episode, or whatever the fuck it is, where My Little Pony's about, I don't know, there'll be a fucking conversion therapy movie where Barbies are being converted to, I don't know, be goddamn, if not ponies, I don't know, giraffes or fucking zebras or something. And it'll be something about gay conversion therapies, which, fuck gay conversion therapies, that they should be banned. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight. Be what you want to be, but fuck those therapy things. Fucking horse shits. But anyway. We don't like... Whatever. So Barbie's being a bitch to the Kens, and they all treat the Kens like shit, but it's, hey, the Barbies look at Ken as an accessory. Just like the real world looks at women. Men look at women as accessory. I don't know, accessory to murder? It's so... I know there are men out there that are sexist and that are assholes to women. But you do know that the flip side is the Barbie world, the flip side. I'm like, okay, so we both suck and we're both flawed. So now what? Yeah, and then what? We're both fucked up. And the sky is blue. I don't know what the whole... I know what the whole point of it is, but it just... I don't think it was as clever or as smart in the satire as the critics think it is. That's just me. It's just very, very on the nose, as subtle as a goddamn sledgehammer to the fucking nuts. So, because her barber world's not going well, and she's got flat feet, she visits the weird Barbie played by Kate McKinnon, who I guess has it in her contract to just play weird-ass people. She was the weird-ass non-Egon in Ghostbusters 2016. Now she's the weird-ass Barbie chick. I said, well, you gotta go through all this stuff in order to go to the real world, to find the girl who owns you, plays with you, how the fuck that works. Because I guess some of her negative energy is rubbing off onto you. Because it's fancy, you're not supposed to think about it. Ken joins. And Ryan Gosling, he is playing a guy that really wants to fit in. That's the way I looked at him. And I felt sorry for the guy. And I think Ryan Gosling's character is the best part of the damn movie. I really do. He was the only one I gave a flying fuck about. He's the one I wanted him to win, to be perfectly honest. I actually wanted his plan to win. But we'll get to that. And as soon as they get into the real world felt more cartoonish than the Barbie world. I think that's another thing that really just confused me. Like, the real world, it did feel more goddamn cartoonish than Barbie world. Immediately as they get in, there's a guy that comes up to slap Barbie on the ass, and I'm sitting there going, I know that has happened. But then you know what also happens? Someone goes up and beats the shit out of the guy, or pepper spray the motherfucker. Especially when it leads into these construction workers saying all these quips to her. I'm sitting there going, no, these construction guys would get fucking fired. if they even think that. In the world of today, if you're working at a job and you have a thought, people get butthurt about it. That's if it's different from yours. People have been fired for less. A lot fucking less in today's age. Maybe if this was done back in the day with much more of a better director or more clever script, whether it be the Brady Bunch movie, where that was a bit more of a clever script. I never saw Enchanted, so I can't comment on that, but I've seen bits and pieces, and it looked much more enjoyable than this movie. Or even Clueless back to the day. You want to talk about empowerment, and a much funnier movie. This, in the world of today, where you want to talk about how women have it so tough, have it so bad. My point is, everybody has it tough and have it bad in today's age. It's not just you. Let me go off on a tangent. Every fucking person in this goddamn world today have it bad. There's an old phrase, things are tough all over. I'm a victim, you're a pepper, he's a pepper, they're a pepper too. Here's some poppers, or whatever the fuck. Get some fucking... Pop your finger up your ass, maybe loosen it up. Stop popping fingers out of assholes. I don't know. Everyone's a goddamn victim. We're all goddamn victims in this shitty world of today. Yeah, there are women that get fucked over, but there's also men that get fucked over. Sally, yes, there are black people that get fucked over, but there's also white people and Asian people. And people in fucking Brazil. People in fucking Africa. People in fucking Asia. People in fucking Queens. People who fucked a queen. People in fucking Jupiter. People in fucking the sewers. People in the fucking Antarctica. People in fucking Barbie land. People in fucking Beavis and Butthead land. Everybody gets fucked over. Shit happens. There's also a lot of very successful women as well as successful men. There's also a lot of very successful black people as well as successful white people. They're successful in a lot of ways, shape, or forms. It's a flawed, fucked up place. But guess what? In that case, it's a lot better than it was before. Trust me on that. If this was 1955 or 1978 or maybe even 1983, maybe I could see your point. But in today's age, it's not as shabby as people make it out to be. It really isn't. That's why Lady got to direct the film and Margot Robbie got to star in the film. And obviously enough people enjoyed and accepted to get over $1 billion. Doesn't seem like much of a fucking victim to me. We're all goddamn victims. You want to sit there and fucking keep bleeding, or you want to get up and go punch him in the face? To fuck up a quote from Hardcore Henry. And I fucked up that quote, I know. So it's just one of those things that I just tired of this fucking victim. And there are movies that could do that well. Don't get me wrong. There are movies that could do that well. But then do it well. In my opinion, this wasn't done well. Hell, I just saw a film called They Cloned Tyrone. Other than I have issues with the third act, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Much better written and much better acted than in this movie. Much more interesting of a plot. Go check out They Cloned Tyrone. I thought that was pretty good. This... I was talking about how the real world is so much more cartoonish. Like, again, the way construction workers taught, they would get fired in 5 seconds. Because a lot of you're guilty until proven innocent. That's the case of a lot of things. I mean, yeah, there are men that do horrible, shitty stuff. I'm not denouncing that because that's the fucking truth. But the reverse is also true too. But no one wants to say that because that's too mean. I'm sorry, the truth hurts. Things are fucked up on both sides. Yeah, men, women, white, black, Asian, all this group of us called united on this fucked up planet called Earth. But if every single group, there's a small percentage that fucks up for everybody. There's a small percentage of guys and girls and white and black and Teletubbies and Barneys and fucking Barney Fifes and Barney the dinosaurs that fuck up for everybody. But that little group does not equate the entire group. But for some reason, that's a weird fucking concept for people to detail. And again, the fact I have to fucking have the goddamn dialect and dialogue in a fucking Barbie movie is the whole goddamn thing's ridiculous to me. Fucking shit. When I was a little kid, I didn't give a shit about this shit to see in movies. Maybe little girls do, I don't know, but little boys, people I knew back in the day when I was a little boy and they were a little boy, we gave a shit about, hey, is the Ninja Turtle going to kick that guy's ass? Or the people with Power Rangers? Or fucking G.I. Joe? Or He-Man? Is going to kick Skeletor's ass this time? But apparently I'm old-fashioned. Oh, speaking of cartoonish, Will Ferrell being the president of Mattel. You want to talk about cartoonish? And he's not that funny. He's Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell. And he's... the expiration date on his persona is well past due. He's trying to do his old shtick. People found him funny, good on it. I didn't. I was never a huge Will Ferrell fan to begin with. There are films of his I don't mind. The Other Guys being one of them. Talladega Nights being another. But I'm not a huge Will Ferrell fan. I was always more into... I prefer Jim Carrey, early Adam Sandler, Jack Black. I prefer other people than Will Ferrell. He's the president of Mattel. Which, I mean, this is a big toy commercial. Just try to be more satiric. And Barbie and Tindy in the real world. And again, because Barbie punches guy, they get arrested. They get let go pretty quickly. They had to figure out what to do. Ken looks at how this world is such a patriarchy. I guess he didn't see a lot of the movies today because that would... he should go to the cinema and he would think he'd be in Barbie world with some of the way these fucking films are today. So, maybe you should go see Amber Heard. Go out with her. So she can shit on your bed and in this case probably shit on his face. Go find Amber Heard. Yes, there's some... anyway. And Ken... I know they try to make him to be like a fucking villain or something, but to me, when I saw this scene, I'm like, oh, he's respected. But then they push it further with... now he sees some other toxic people and he tries to mimic their shit. But there's other stuff that's like, hey, he wants to be respected. I should commend him for it. And while he's doing that and seeing people at the gym and stuff, Barbie sees this girl who he thinks is the girl that was idolizing Barbie, and instead she gives him the 3rd, 4th, and 5th degree, calling her a fucking fascist and a fucking sexualized capitalistic. I'm like, goddamn kid, you're a communist and you're sociopathic with the way you behave here. Goddamn, man. Charlie Manson is more commendable in his verbiage of inequities than you. Fucking hell. Guess your dad should have pulled out. For fuck's sake, kid. Do you have chill pills in your lunch? If not, maybe you should take some. So Barbie, I felt bad. Margot Robbie is fine in the role. I didn't really have any issues with her acting. I don't hate Margot Robbie. I'm not bait on her Harley Quinn. I didn't mind the second Suicide Squad. I liked the second Suicide Squad film that James Gunn, the one he directed with Idris Elba. I liked that movie. The first one wasn't big on. Birds of Prey I was not a fan of. But I don't mind Margot Robbie as an actress. And I think Ryan Gosling's doing what he can for the role he's given. I just don't find Barbie that interesting of a character. For a good chunk of it, I didn't find her that likable of a character. Her art just I didn't find fascinating to me. I'm sorry. And before I forget, they do this thing where she freaks out. She doesn't know her place. She thought people would worship her, like hug her. She did so much good for kids. Instead, she's heard that kids were set back all these years because of Barbie. I'm surprised Mattel fucking allowed that shit to happen. Be like, your fucking toy sucks. It took back feminism 50 years. I'm like, God damn, Mattel's like, yeah, you can call us an asshole. How much money we didn't pay? How much of promotion? Sure, call us an asshole. Sure, yeah, we've been an asshole for 50 years. Why not? Or whatever the fuck. Okay. If you say so. Mattel the simp. I'll allow you to piss on my face. Be my guest. It'll make the people on Twitter and TikTok love it. But Will Ferrell's... Once they find out what's going on with Barbie and such, they're like, oh, we need to put her in a box. I'm thinking a coffin? But no, like a box. Like a little Barbie box. But I swear, maybe I'm wrong, I swear Barbie even said, I'm going to go back. So if she's going to go back on her own, why the fuck do you put her in the box when she's going to go back on her own anyway? Just leave her the fuck alone. She's going to go back home. Or like, hey, do you need help in getting back home? Nah. Can we see you out just to say goodbye? Sure. Shake hands, she leaves. There you go. You don't have to put her in a fucking box, but they have this lame chase scene. While Ken is seeing all this patriarchy stuff, he brings it back to Barbie world. Barbie is saved by Will Ferrell, one of his workers, this woman who's the mom of that little shithead kid. And apparently it was the mom that was playing with the Barbie. It was the mom that loved the Barbie. And I didn't really get a sense of any good, heartfelt moments because they would be stopped by a bunch of fucking lecturing about some kind of matriarchy politics, about how patriarchy made... feel more lecturing than fucking heartfelt. Case in point, a film that did that shit a lot better, which I quite enjoyed, was Everything Everywhere All at Once. I quite enjoy that film. I just think of the scene where Michelle Yeoh, she is realizing how her thought process was very flawed as she's looking at her husband, played by Tioy Kwan, and realizes just how special he is, or just how she didn't appreciate him before and she needs to change, and her different selves in all these universes are realizing that, and one goes up and hugs him and the other like tearfully smiles at him and hears his words of just be kind, and she uncurls her fist, and that one scene alone had more heart to it. But this film, people want to commend it in the same way, and it makes $1 billion. I'm like, not in my dojo, no thank you. This just came off as, again, lecturing, pandering, whatever the fuck the case of whatever side you want to fall on, it still felt like a goddamn lecture. I just didn't see what was entertaining about the movie. except maybe Ryan Gosling's performance. But other than that. So they get to Barbie World again. Uh, Barbie, the mom, and the kid. The kid still being an insufferable fucking shithead. And now the patriarchy's running wild, and somehow these Barbie women that was so smart that they're doctors and all this shit, and just snap, crackle, pop. Now they're submissive to the men, even though they're saying we love it and we're happy. And in a way, they did seem happier that way. I don't know, but then Ken shoots that line back at Barbie. Hey, this isn't Barbie's house. This is Ken's house. How's it feel? I'm like, okay, I'll give you that. It's trying to showcase that, hey, the way you're treating us isn't right. But again, this thing with the real world where it's only men treating women bad, I'm like, there are women that treat men bad too. I guess if they treated the real world as the actual fucking real world where both things exist, where it's a lot much more complicated, but they treat the real world as simple as the Barbie world. I think that's my issue. Is one of my issues is that the real world is a lot more fucking complicated than the Barbie world, but they treat the real world again as cartoons and as simple-minded, clear-cut as the Barbie world. I'm like, no, that's the point. The point is Barbie world is so simplistic, and the real world is more complicated, and they don't fucking do that. They just go, this is matriarchy, this is patriarchy. I'm like, believe it or not, the real world is not that simple-minded. Not in today's age. I mean, maybe if you're a 1983 or a 1972 or a 1954, maybe you'd have a point. But believe it or not, things have changed at least a tad. But you don't want to put that into any notion. Then you come off as being... What's the phrase I'm thinking of, or the word I'm thinking of? You're being untruthful of what's going on in today's age. You're being fairly untruthful on that note. So Barbie, she's depressed. The mom gives this speech about how women had it tough and all this shit. I'm like, oh my god, man. You know, men have it tough too, you know. Yeah, there are men that look at women in such ways, but there are women that look at men the same way. There are men that if you're thin and that's all they care about, and they're this, that's all they care about. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, there are women that do the same thing. There are women that will say, I just want the Brad Pitt with six packs and not talk about beer. But they don't want to mention that part. That's what I mean. Everybody's in the same boat. I'm tired of people, subsets, sections, thinking they got special privileges. Maybe that's the issue I have. Is, no, me and you breathe the same goddamn way. We bleed the same goddamn way. As far as I know, we bleed the same color. We're both on the same planet called Earth. That's equality. Not special privileges. But it feels like everyone wants to be a victim, special privileges, and that's bullshit. It's not how the real world works. Now, if they really want to go this deep in the satiric style, then maybe go into that, but you don't want to do that. So whatever the fuck. And that's my point. What about this is so goddamn entertaining? What was so goddamn funny with this comedy? If I want to see, I got more laughs out of Mannequin from back in the fucking 80s. And better music. Nothing's gonna stop us now. So after they did this speech, they tricked the Kins because the Kins are dumb and they start fighting each other. And it's back to the matriarchy again. But this time, they will let the Kins have a little bit stuff to do. Which I guess is, the whole point of it. And pretty much Barbie saying, Ken, you be your individual. I'm going to be my individual. I'm going to go be a human being now. And they're going to be Barbara. Okay. Be Barbara Bush or wherever the fuck you want to be. I guess that's the empowerment. I just don't give a fuck. Like I know obviously I must have given a fuck to spend 40 goddamn minutes on this, but I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Barbie. I never give a fuck about Barbie. I'm not the intended audience. I'm not the intended focus for this. I don't think it deserved $1 billion. I didn't think it was smart, satiric, or as original as people said it was. The set design, it's. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it just, for what kind of movie it is, it just seemed typical. I don't know how else to put it. It didn't really set the creative juices flowing. It's like, okay, there's pink, there's a couple houses here and there, but I don't know, I didn't think it was as visually stimulating as some people made it out to be. The acting, Margot Robbie is fine. I don't think she's the reason this made $1 billion, because if that was the case, Birds of Prey or the Suicide Squad films, or like the second one, would have made $1 billion, but that didn't happen. Or Birds of Prey would have done it. Didn't happen. I think just Barbie's a popular title that is very recognizable, and people underestimate how recognizable that. And I guess I didn't even mention the whole Barbenheimer thing, which I never gave a fuck about. I still haven't seen Oppenheimer, and one's like, what, 3 hours, and one's like, this is almost 2 hours, so yeah, 5 hours. Spend your day watching this stuff. I don't know, man. I'm just, after watching this film, I just find it forgettable. I think that's why I'm also stalling. This was a fucking forgettable guy. This movie, within a year, people are not going to remember the details of this film, except maybe Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, his moments, whether it be his song with the others, I'm Ken, or his shirt, Kenough. Like, instead of enough, it's Kenough. The memes that will happen because of that, that's what people will remember. They're not going to remember the story. They're not going to remember the satire of the feminism, equal rights shit. Once the uproar dies down, it's going to be like Ghostbusters 2016. The uproar, it died down, and now people barely remember the fucking movie. Hey, I'm glad you made $1 billion. The people get really, really pissed at it. They got shut up. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I still don't think it's that much of a movie. I still don't think it's that funny of a comedy. I would never see this film again. I don't know. The people who love this film, how many times do you think you're going to rewatch the film? How many times do you think you're gonna rewatch that damn Blu-ray 4K when it comes out? I think it was a fad that people enjoyed for a bit with the Barbenheimer stuff and something to defend, and they had some chuckles with Ryan Gosling, as did I. Is that going to stand the test of time? I'm sure by the end of the year they're going to push it. I guarantee you they're going to try to push it for some awards with the way the world is today. I mean, fuck. There's been weirder shit that got nominated. Prey is a movie, but it got nominated as a TV movie by the Emmys. So anything can happen. I won't be surprised. Yeah, that's Barbie. I don't know what else to say. Don't give a fuck. Is it the worst movie ever in the world? No. I got more pissy with Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I got more pissy with The Flash. I got more pissy with Beau is Afraid. I would put those above this as the worst of the year. I don't even know if I'll put this in the top 10 worst because I'll probably forget the fucking movie by the end of the year. I'll forget the shit. I probably, because I didn't give a fuck. I probably got more disappointed or pissy at like Transformers Rise of the Beast or Fast X or that shit. This is like put in the don't give a fuckist category. Shove the Barbie up your ass for all I care. I don't give a shit. Later.